Being unprepared and causing your association to crash into a mountain of predictable expenses is just plain foolish. This results in special assessments, net higher costs, and lower property values. With an updated reserve study, you can equip your association with years to gradually prepare to avoid these mountains of expenses. Everywhere else in life, businesses build these same types of expenses into the ongoing fee structure. That's why when I check out of a hotel, they never ask for an extra $500 to replace the carpet. Or when I turn in my rental car, there's no special assessment for an oil change or new tires. Those costs are all built into the ongoing fee structure. You can do that at your association, planning ahead, so every homeowner pays their small, fair share along the way. Doing that improves your future, avoiding the pain of crashing into a huge expense that was right in front of you in plain sight.
Okay, now let's talk about what happens if the board doesn't plan ahead. And as a bonus, we'll also spend some time on what happens if the board does plan ahead. And let's start with what happens if you're not prepared, if you don't plan. Those mountains of expenses in your association in the future are coming. You're flying right towards them. We don't have control over time. The earth continues to spin and things get older every day. As a board member, if you're back in seat 23A on the plane minding your own business, that's the wrong place to be. Now, from my point of view, I recall Mad Magazine. It had a mascot and cover boy called Alfred E. Newman. His famous phrase was, "What? Me worry?" And it's funny because we all know it's silly to not prepare, walking foolishly forward, getting slammed or surprised by things that are obvious to many others, or obvious if you would have cared to open your eyes or look at the possibilities. And of course, if you don't, it's a train wreck. If you don't move your vehicle off the tracks, like happened here in this picture, you're going to get smashed. You only have so much time to act, or there's going to be a problem in your future. And in our industry, in the community association world, we call those bad things the Ds. Higher costs due to when deferred maintenance causes a simple project to get much bigger in scope and more expensive. Disruption and distress due to special assessments. Declining property values. Owner distrust of the board and manager causing political disruption. General discouragement and disappointment among the owners because they don't have good leaders drawing the association forward. Why did I buy into this association? And the danger of litigation, if and when some owners feel strongly enough about it that the board wasn't acting responsibly in accordance with the governing documents or state law, and they launch litigation. Or it just gets plain expensive. Now, from a reserve study provider's point of view, we see this from our perspective because we see associations that do and don't act like this. Okay, let's imagine a $250,000 roof project that happens every 15 years. If you set aside reserve funds over those 15 years and collect 4% interest, which is readily available nowadays, the owners, your homeowners, only need to pay about $183,000 of that $250,000 roof because the bank makes up the difference with interest over those 15 years. If you wait until the last minute and special assess, it's going to cost your homeowners $250,000. It's a lot more than $183,000. And then if you wait until the last minute and don't want to pass a special assessment, but want to take out a loan, at current market rates, a $250,000 roof is going to cost about $320,000 because of the interest you pay to the bank. So instead of getting money from the bank, all of a sudden you're paying money to the bank. And that's a big spread in cost. That's $137,000. That's a little over halfway of the total cost in the project itself. So the board's failure to plan ahead and pay the ongoing deterioration bill that happens every month ended up costing the homeowners $137,000 they didn't need to pay. And then remember, a special assessment isn't a good solution. It's disruptive, it's unexpected, and it's unfair, falling only on the shoulders of the people currently living at the association at the time of the expense. Remember that it's the board's job to protect, preserve, and enhance the association. A special assessment generally happens when the board wasn't being proactive and wasn't planning ahead, wasn't asking those questions we've been talking about earlier. And a special assessment takes time and in most cases relies on an owner vote of approval. It's never a sure thing. It's never a good idea to make an expensive emergency something that you could have and should have avoided if you would have planned ahead and again asked the right questions over the years and got your association set up for success. And for those of you thinking about a loan, in addition to it clearly being an expensive way to pay for predictable projects, remember that a loan requires you to qualify. It's no sure thing that an association in financial straits in need of a loan will be able to qualify for that loan. And it takes too long to get a loan in order to quickly get the funds together to fix a leaky roof. You're going to have to pay a roofer right now for the roof leaks, and it takes a while. And remember that once you do get a loan, the banker is going to get involved with your association to ensure that you have sufficient cash so that they get paid back. They have leverage now that they've loaned you money. They have influence. And likely, they're going to insist on higher monthly assessments, which is likely the exact same solution you should have done years ago, which would have prevented this entire problem. And from a management point of view, loans make administering the association more complicated, and they also complicate sales and closings. So, like the other cartoon I showed you earlier, your association is a product of your choices. Portfolio managers in our audience know one or more associations like the Aspen Creek condos in the cartoon. They're disorganized, they're sloppy, mismanaged, they're not taking care of business. Some of you board members and homeowners have the challenge of living in an association just like Aspen Creek. So, knowing the challenges of upcoming expenses, what do the steps look like to prepare? It's actually pretty simple, really. Fund your reserves as needed. That requires some courage to raise assessments. Spend reserves on caring for the property, not letting it deteriorate. Updating your reserve study regularly to get fresh planning information. And asking questions and then listening to your advisors. Just like the flight crews listen to the control tower. So, why prepare? Because the mountains are coming. Deterioration is real. Mother Nature and Father Time don't care that your budget is tight. They hear that all across the country. We can't afford it. We don't think our homeowners will support it. Well, remember, all your assets are getting older and wearing out every day. That deterioration is real. And it looks just like Lucy and Ethel in that Chocolate Factory comedy sketch that Mark showed or told you about. You need to work fast to keep up, or you're going to have a crisis on your hands. Another thing to think about, when I travel and stay in hotels or jump into a rental car at the airport, I never worry about them assessing me a fee for a new hallway carpet, or to buy new tires, or to get an oil change when I return the car. Those companies build those costs right into the daily usage fee. So it's normal across the country. We're encouraging associations to build these costs right into the monthly assessments so everyone pays their fair share. Now, there's an extra benefit here. At an association, when you build those costs into the monthly assessments, the funds are there in the future when you need them. And from our study about condo home values compared to reserve fund strength, we learned that home values in associations with a strong reserve fund were significantly higher, 12.6% higher to be exact. Curb appeal is real. A strong reserve fund that provides for the timely care of the property pays for itself in thousands of dollars in higher home values. So you can compare the maybe $50 more a month that you need to put into reserves or the $100 more a month that you need to put into reserves compared to thousands of dollars in higher home values. Responsible reserve planning pays for itself. Okay, And with that, let me summarize our time together and bring this program to a close. As a board member, remember, you're in the cockpit. You're the flight crew. The mountains are ahead. Mark showed that every association has its own different set of upcoming expenses or mountains. Air traffic control knows how high those mountains are, where they are, where you are relative to them. You're reckless if you're not gripping the controls tight and getting regular updates from air traffic control on how you're doing. And if you're back in seat 23A, everyone on board that aircraft is going to suffer a bumpy or dangerous flight. Remember, it's a multi-year journey for associations as they go into the future. The mountains are scattered out. You generally don't have to face them all at once. And most associations have the speed and time to prepare in advance if they choose to do so. And we want to encourage you to choose to do so. So, for board members in the audience, we encourage you to listen to your manager. Reach out to get help from your other professionals. If you're a manager, be that voice of experience to your board clients and lean on your reserve study professional for the long-time projects who know the terrain and know that long-term vision and can see things clearly to help you arrive safely in your journey to the future. But remember, it's the board who's up in the cockpit who flies the plane. It's your association. Lead it well. Those upcoming expenses are real and they take time to prepare. If you ignore them until they're right in front of you, you've created your own emergency. All right, for any of you who need some reserve study assistance at your association who are looking for an air traffic controller, contact us directly through our website. We're at the top right corner of reservestudy.com. You can get a no-obligation reserve study proposal for your association. And you can find other helpful resources via articles, other recorded webinar materials, anything like that, or you can simply scroll to the bottom of any page, sign up for our email list to get notified of future programs like this. Or you can search for one of our videos on YouTube, where this one will be posted, as Paige mentioned, in about a week. Subscribe to our channel so you'll learn of all the new videos that hit and all the free learning resources that you can enjoy, help you to fly the plane, and you can share with other managers or board members. And also to help you in the challenging budget process, we have this new tool that we added for our clients back in 2020 called UPlanet. It's our online reserve calculator. It's kind of like a flight simulator program where you can take your reserve study and start testing all your what-if ideas. What happens if I move this expense out? What happens if we lower our reserve transfers? What happens if we get more or less interest? Things like that. It allows you to get your fingers into it and customize the plan for your association. And the great thing is that access to UPlanet for your budget season comes free with every one of our professionally prepared reserve studies. Now, for those of you who are readers, you can order a copy of our desktop reference, Understanding Reserves, to help you remember basic reserve planning concepts. I'll put a link in the outline so you can download Chapter 1 for free to see what it's like. And if you like it, order it on Amazon. And another great resource we have for you as we're trying to encourage you to get outside input is a weekly 30-minute podcast for boards called HOA Insights, Common Sense for Common Areas. New episodes drop every Monday. It's weekly, it's regular, and it's designed to encourage and equip boards to have more success at their association. Topics covered are things like insurance, board transitions, minute taking, understanding financials, current events, and 1 week a month, we feature the story of a board hero, and you can see what or hear what they've been doing at their association. And with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Paige. We'll coordinate our Q&A time together.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.